just waiting to see what he does.
I understood that.
Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to make sure you know all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on all new episodes of Wade's World, Boob Windows and Long Boxes, our Hard R movie reviews, and so much more, all completely uncensored. Access starts for as little as $1 a month, full videos when you pledge $3 a month. Check us out at the link in all of our show notes, or just go straight to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Parrish, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Capes and Lunatics, our big The Suicide Squad review. I am Phil. Joining me as always, bouncing all around. It is in New Jersey.
Charlie, the Professor Essa. Without the big thing sticking out of my head like that guy.
And stabbing people with some big sharp objects in Florida. It is. And there he is once again. I don't know what he's doing with these dregs that we are. It is Superman himself.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Tyler.
The true last son of Krypton.
Yeah, I like that.
So yes, The Suicide Squad hits theaters and HBO Max. So
Number one in the box office.
Well, yeah.
That's not hard these days. I mean, if it's like a big blockbuster, anymore, it's usually number one. I mean, depending what's out, how many movies are out at the time.
Well,
it just doesn't seem like there's any competition being dropped. So,
well, it's going.
Everybody's afraid to. But that's on its second week.
Yeah. So no, they're lucky that they didn't knock Jungle Cruise out because they barely beat Jungle Cruise. Is what I'm saying. Because as I said with Jungle Cruise, its biggest advantage is that you're bringing the kids to it. So that's like 4 more tickets or 3 more tickets or 1 more ticket when you go. And
but I wonder if
this was not a family film.
Does that not count? HBO Max Suicide Squad's free if you have a subscription. Yeah.
Yep.
You have to pay extra. So.
Yeah, that was the weirdest choice that Warner Brothers made on this. Well, on all of it. But, they made the choice. They made the choice that they had the capital to burn. That they felt that, we can burn the capital just to get the service going. And to say, this is how we're doing it, is how we're doing it. It's a bold move.
I think it was also building confidence in the brand again, because every other studio is like, how many times have they reshuffled a movie or said, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that? And Warner Brothers just was like, we're going to put it in theaters and on HBO Max the same day, just to try to build confidence in their slate. So if a movie was coming out this year, we were for sure going to get to see it one way or the other.
Oh, is this right? I'm seeing 746.8 million.
Yeah, that's what I'm showing right now.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
700 for what? For worldwide or just over the weekend?
This is the total box office right now, including because it opened July 30th in Europe.
UK.
Okay, so cool. So good for them.
Yeah, not bad. $175 million budget. Yeah, they made 746 so far.
So they're making their money back on the project. Good for them. Good for Gunn.
Yeah, I don't know about the rest of you, but I enjoyed this one more than the first one, like a lot more.
Well,
I love all the people that are coming out talking about the first Suicide Squad was a masterpiece. Really?
No,
really?
the first. My thing is with the first one, actually. All you have to do is start the movie, and you can tell. Oh yeah, there was studio meddling. You can tell it because it's just montage after montage of little cut scenes.
That's what happens when you let a trailer company edit the film instead of the trailer.
Oh my God! Get ready for this, kids.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Hey, I did make a comment that those would be awesome, like prop toys to have, like just because they were just awesome.
Now your kids can be mindless drones.
I don't know why they're. I mean, I assume they're selling those this Halloween.
You would hope so. But I'm just
masks,
gonna say I'm not really gonna compare this to the other movie. I think it's unfair because the other movie was meddled with so much. I mean, you
I still
can't.
don't want an Ayers cut, so don't.
I'm just saying, just because, like, you have example of movie A is a movie that was re-edited and had reshoots done by a studio, but then movie B, you can tell, was just they let the director have their freedom. So there's definitely a tonality there where.
But there's also a weakness in that too.
There is,
which I think that they gave James Gunn too much freedom at times.
Also,
which
they needed to do that though because of what they put everybody else through. So that's also rebuilding faith on the creative side.
And weren't they more like with the first one? Oh, we're going to have like a connected universe, like
it was only the third film within that universe.
Yeah,
and they really thought that Joker was going to be better received, things like that. So
yeah.
So now they were just like cut loose.
And I mean, this
I'm not
one's
making
kind
excuses. It is what it is. I don't like the film.
And that's the thing. It is an excuse.
This is also like, hey James, if you come to our side, we'll let you do what you want, unlike what Disney is trying to put you through.
We'll just reskin Guardians of the Galaxy. So I don't like that either. So it's like it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing for me right now.
I don't know. Like I said, I liked it. I think this was the best Margot Robbie Harley live action we've gotten so far.
She's
really?
Yeah, man.
That might be controversial. No, I think this is an abysmal Margot Robbie Harley. Since when is Harley dumb?
She's not dumb. She's insane.
No, she's an idiot throughout the entire thing.
She's insane.
It
goes well beyond insane. It goes well beyond insane.
She rescued herself.
It goes too dumb.
She rescued herself.
She rescued herself.
She took out Tara. What more do you want?
If you check out that actual framing of it, did she actually do it with all the animation? And we go from diegetic to in the scene. It's a whole thing. It's a whole choice that he made.
Yeah.
It's her.
When you look at it from a filmmaking point of view, did she really?
She did. She just, you have the anime. All that's like in her head, kind of thing. Like it's Harley vision. I mean, like what Lila said, having just rewatched Birds of Prey, I like Margot in Birds of Prey. The film itself is not better, but there's some things that she does in that film that are great. She had a firm
grip on it, and it was also a woman director, which, woman to woman, it's a little easier to work with. We're back to the male gaze of
Well, maybe it's the first time, too.
Can I just inject here that basically every film that she's played Harley Quinn in has been a flop, right? Has been a flop, a major flop. So it was like down to, is she the worst character or is it the bad stories? But I thought she was great in this. I thought she was great. I absolutely enjoyed her character in this.
Except for one or two lines. This is like the first movie where she wasn't like, Joker this, the Joker that.
And this goes to that central question of the movie and the character in the movie and the character that we're coming to see. So for me, this was not a good adaptation of Harley. This was a very, very misogynistic, hateful adaptation of Harley. Just like all the other women in this film are very much through the toxic lens of James Gunn. Which is really what I want to say. And like I said, brilliant filmmaker. Like I said, you can say what you want about women.
He brings his his patina to certain things.
So, I mean, I don't think I would, after really seeing this, I don't know if I want to go have a beer with the guy, but I would definitely watch his movies. And, I can see it's like, oh, okay, I see how you portray women in your films, how they, even the hyper competent ones have to be idiots. So it's like, okay, I see what you're doing there, and I see what the story you're telling, and it's fine, and he tells it well. But to act like it's not a real central part of how he tells a story is just ignoring the reality of the story. Tells it brilliantly, but again, that's not who Harley Quinn is in my mind. The licensed therapist, the person with a doctorate in psychology, all of the things that, the world-class gymnast, all the things she is, that I think that even though I did not like Birds of Prey, I like this better than Birds of Prey, but I liked Birds of Prey's Harley better than this Harley. So it's like it's those different levels of basically.
Well, Birds of Prey
it's a great DC film.
Yeah, but you say she's portrayed as an idiot, but I think besides Bloodsport and maybe Amanda Waller, everyone in this movie was portrayed as an idiot, basically.
Well,
she's not the star of this film, is she? She's just a.
That's another thing. Yeah, this isn't her film.
And
She's
first off, Amanda Waller is the biggest idiot of the group, which is another thing I hate.
Yep.
That they make Amanda Waller.
I thought they pushed her as more evil, not an idiot, though.
But being evil is being an idiot. That's the thing. It's like
in
Amanda
her line
Waller.
of work specifically, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to be more. You have to be more. You have to have more finesse about yourself than that.
Yeah, real Amanda Waller would know that Weasel can't swim, and that Bloodsport is afraid of rats, or that would have been her plan all along. That's the thing. And by the way, spoilers.
I took that as we're setting up her team, because at least two of them look like they're going to be in that Peacemaker spinoff. So I thought that was just setting up the team. It's like I have people to look into this stuff for me.
Yeah, no, you don't. Amanda Waller checks work. Amanda Waller doesn't have, Jeb Bush's son just as an intern. And nothing against the Bush family. I'm just saying that you're not there because of political connection.
Jeb. We don't talk bad about Jeb. We don't do.
No,
that.
I like Jeb. I actually think he could have been the salvation of the Republican Party. But, yeah, he's the good one. But as good as they get.
Like I said, he's the best.
And like I said, this is as good as DC films get. They gave the director the chance to make his movie. He made his movie, and it's really enjoyable.
This was the best DC movie. I had such a good time with this movie. I thought it was great fun. I couldn't fault it from beginning to end. I loved it. After coming off Fast 9, where gravity is not a thing, I was watching this, and I was thinking, when the almighty Starro appeared, I was like, wow, this is ace. I buy it. I just totally buy it. I was totally bought into it. The only thing I thought was a downer on it was that Captain Boomerang got it. You know what I mean? I was like,
oh,
what?
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't bringing anything. See, they had to clear the slate from the other movie, and he wasn't really bringing anything.
I know,
but
the advertising, man, they tricked you.
It's
horrible.
They didn't back away from it.
But whoever was responsible, thank you for killing Pete Davidson within the first 5 minutes.
That's rude. That's rude.
Who else
for Pete, even though we knew
that was the worst character.
I was a little too excited to see Pete Davidson get shot in the face. I can't even explain to my wife. I just was
gonna
like,
make him depressed again. Leave
Davidson alone. All right.
Wait, hold on. I just want to say
that team. I was glad to see died. I thought Weasel was dead. Man, that thing. I don't know.
He should have died.
Everybody loved Weasel. Meanwhile, I'm like, Ratcatcher 2 was the real star of the show. Well, Ratcatcher 1 was the real star of the show, but Ratcatcher 2 also held a candle.
Yeah. And again, that's one of these things. I think that without Ratcatcher 1 and the way that Takia brings to the character, his cameo, Takia's cameo, I think carries way more of this film from both his thing on the building and his moral of the story and his tragic death of heroin addiction. All these things give so much more weight to this film than maybe arguably it deserves.
And in the comics, that character is nowhere near that good. So.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just going to say, with the thing about Boomerang.
Man until Long Halloween. It all has to start somewhere.
Well, I mean, Ratcatcher 1 was an evil SOB in the comics. Yeah.
If you think about
everybody's reimagining has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
If you think about this film and you think about like horror movie rules, if someone survives the first horror movie, so you bring them into the second one, immediately they kill Captain Boomerang. That tells us, okay, just because they're in the last one, they're not going to make it. It's a shock kill because, oh man, I liked him in the last movie, and then later we have our.
You really like him in the last movie, though.
We have our heart kill.
Yeah, the Australians loved him.
Okay.
You know
Mr. Sunday Movies loves him.
You know what I'm saying? Later in the movie, we have the kill that's like supposed to like really hit us hard. And then at the end of the film, you have two characters left from the first film, and one we knew like nobody has the balls to kill Harley.
Oh, that's their money thing.
Yeah. So we know she's safe in this, but by killing other people, they're like trying to show like nobody's safe
too. They can't kill the black guy.
No, Idris can't through this, and I'm glad Idris.
They're trying to lure him away from Marvel. They're like,
can I just say about Idris? Right, he plays a really awful bad guy. He's been cast as bad guys in no end of films, and he's just awful at it. When he was in Star Trek, he was awful in that, and when he was in Hobbs and Shaw, he was awful in that. So it was great to see him with no accent, doing his normal London accent, playing a good guy, and let him just reign. I've not had that much fun with Idris since Zootopia.
Yes, yeah.
I'm a Luther kind of girl when it comes to Idris, but
I just think
he's a good guy.
I mean, I loved his
or The Wire.
I loved his character.
He plays a pretty good bad guy on The Wire.
I loved him in this. I loved him better than Will Smith in the first one. But did they kind of do him in a similar character because they couldn't get Will Smith back, or were they all
exactly? It's not that they couldn't.
Well, there's interviews with him online, and he said when he was cast originally, he was cast to be Deadshot.
Yeah,
and then they decided they're not sure who he was going to be. So there are scenes like throughout the movie where he was just playing. They just labeled him as vigilante. And then they decided on blood's sport. So
contractor.
So it's just kind of one of those where he wasn't sure exactly who he was at parts of the process, and they decided to make him
family fallout with Warner Brothers. I'm just wondering when that tea is going to spill.
Yeah, they weren't about, and to put it to you simply, they weren't about to cheatle Will Smith. So it's
why can Will Smith do it?
He's not.
Does anyone know?
As in demand as everybody thinks. That's all I'll say.
Well,
I'm just saying it was better just to have him as a new character.
Yeah,
even though it
was Bloodsport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere
it's a character that is obscure enough that a casual fan comes in with no preconceived notions.
Yeah, that's what I fun with that character, so they pretty much could have did whatever they wanted with that character.
Yeah, and it's sort of like what you were saying about Ratcatcher. That the original Ratcatcher is not Taika Waititi, the loving father.
I'm just
and you know what? I couldn't care less because I had never heard of Ratcatcher 1 or 2, but this is my first introduction.
But the real departure is Polka Dot Man. I like the actual thing that they did with Polka Dot Man. They really elevated that character the best. As David deserves.
He was absolutely great.
Holding the DC multiverse together single-handedly.
that actor is the best. Yeah, and you give him that abracadabra, whatever. Yeah, he pulls
how many people on my timeline went to high school with this guy? I'm just like, damn.
And you know what? And Tristan was so mad he didn't save himself with a polka dot. Yeah, and he was like, that was what he wanted. He wanted the thing where there's like this one like polka dot like energy field that's just been protecting him until they move, and then we see that he lived, and he's like, yes, I knew he would do it that way, but no, just the unceremonious death was just...
or anything that would be like that.
So Jamie, if Polka Dot Man was here, he would see his mother on your face.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be the first time my mother's been on my face.
Whoa.
We don't do British humor here, Jamie.
Oh, sorry about that. Do you know what? I was just thinking about his mum. I was just thinking about his mum. Do you think she got paid like multiple earnings, like the little dude from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Because he got paid a couple of people's money, didn't he? Because he did so many roles. Do you think she did the same? Did she get like multiple money?
No, because that was all
Brothers
CGI.
could never.
But I laughed my head off. Oh my god! When he looked at Starro and saw that it was his mum, I thought, I'm in. It's so
he's
good.
Like, that's your mum. What? Yeah. That's your mum.
Yes. Yeah. Which I did, and that is brilliant also because I think it's, Screen Crush. That's his like gag in all of his videos. He says, and you see that? That's your mom. And so... which he even referenced that they did my joke. He was so happy. I don't think it was actually a direct Screen Crush reference, but if you're a fan of Screen Crush, you were like, "Oh, I felt that joke," and it was just nice.
I was gonna say you're talking about Taika being in the movie. I don't know what it was, but the first flashback of Taika where she's telling the story and like he's in heroin. I don't know if it was just me, but it was supposed to be sad, but I felt it was really hilarious. I don't know why. Just his crazy hair just made it seem more humorous than it meant serious.
He can't help it though. That guy can't help it.
But you know,
they just went round his house and caught him on a good day.
Just the way they did it, I was like, this just feels more like it's tongue-in-cheek humor, and then like this really hard heart story that's trying to be about her dad on drugs. I was like, am I supposed to be laughing at this?
It's still a Suicide Squad movie, and that's kind of the branding. No matter who's going to be there, I think that's the thing that they kind of want to carry through. We'll give you a little bit of heart, but there's always going to be that dark, like kind of humor.
I will say, you know, one thing
I will say that I didn't feel that about. I really did feel the death of the heroin guy, and it was. I didn't even realize that was Taki at the time. I just thought he was a crazy homeless guy with weird hair, and he was.
I'm not familiar with most of the characters from the Suicide Squad, so the only character, apart from what was from the last film to this one, was Polka Dot Man from the Batman anime, you know, the Lego Batman film. He was in that, and I was like, eh. So when they introduced him in this one, I was like, oh yeah, come on. But the rest of the characters, I didn't have a clue who they were or what they were. But I thought they were in it for the long haul from the beginning, but obviously not.
Yeah,
King Shark has been in the Flash, but man, they really dumped him down for this
movie. I like that they used the Nananaway thing.
Yeah.
I appreciate that a lot.
But
I like
on some level, that kind of made it worse to me.
I didn't like
that they gave him his Hawaiian name and made him again a moron.
I didn't like King Shark at all in this movie.
We're looking through the lens of a toxic man.
Exactly, you know.
I mean,
it is what it is when you hire James Gunn, as I've been saying the whole time.
You know,
is he toxic? Is he, because Disney have took him back, and he did apologize for all those texts.
But you know
what? 10 years ago. If you want to work again, Jamie, the game is the game. Public relations. I was in it for a while. It is what it is.
And this is actually my worry about Disney right now is that Iger is leaving, and the guy who replaced Iger is not Iger.
It's Iger in and of himself. I mean.
Oh, yeah, well, hey, I'm not saying that he's a nice guy. I'm saying he was good at his job.
Oh,
and that's what I get back to. It's like
iron fist.
You don't have to be a good person. You just have to be good at your job and keeping all the pieces together. And the new guy kind of reminds me more of Roy. When Walt left and Roy took over, and it kind of said, "Well, now we're a business."
Will the new guy have the eye of the Iger?
Well, that's the question.
I was just gonna say, as far as King Shark, the Harley Quinn TV series really ruined King Shark for me because I love the way they do King Shark on there, like the Ron punches, and then like
punches define King Shark,
and then first of all, just having Stallone do the voice. I'm sorry if he's saying more than one word, I know it's Stallone, and that just makes me think Stallone, like when he tries to actually say a sentence, I'm like, that's just Stallone.
Like I knew it was him, but like when he talked, it really didn't scream Stallone to me.
I mean,
when you heard,
I thought it was great casting. Really did. I thought it was great casting all through this film.
I just did not like King Shark being dumb like this. I prefer.
Yeah.
I thought the CGI was pretty good for it, though.
I will give that. He looked great.
Yeah, no, he looked fantastic.
Starro was pretty good too, actually.
Starro was fantastic. King Shark was. I mean, the digital effects on this are beautiful. The practical effects are fantastic.
Did we all see it? Did we all see it in the movie theaters? I didn't.
No.
I saw it.
No, I just watched it on HBO.
Yeah,
you know, I don't have as much time to go to the theaters, and you know, I have my kids and Jenny is working. So
I saw it on
Yeah, I saw it downstairs on my TV.
Yeah, you know.
How many times did you guys watch it?
I watched it twice.
Yeah, I watched it once, but I'm going to watch it again.
I watched it twice because I feel like for reviews and stuff like this, sometimes you have to. You miss little things, but I feel like the first time is you go, you watch, and you're like, huh, okay, that's what they gave me. But the second time you understand what they gave you, and either you can appreciate it more,
you can start deconstructing
or you can say, I don't like this. Because sometimes you get caught up in like, oh, that's funny, but then you don't think about it. And then when you watch again, you're like, but this isn't working. The humor is covering up what's not working.
And that was my problem with it.
Classic James
Gunn. For me, the second watch, and I couldn't get, that's the thing, is like I said, the first 20 minutes of this film are dreck. The last 20 minutes are brilliant. And when I have to watch the second 20 minutes to get to that last 20 minutes, I found that the hill got higher. The hill got higher to watch it again because between, like I said, I still say they did Harley dirty, but you can disagree. Great minds can disagree. I do feel that there was a lot of, like, and it's weird to talk about, like, protagonist armor in this because, yes, clearly Harley has protagonist armor where she fires the bazooka and everyone's shooting at her, but somehow no one can hit her, but they can hit everybody else. And that whole first scene is nuts. Then when they go and kill all of the friendlies, when they massacre the entire, to me that was like,
that was the funniest scene in the entire movie.
Yeah.
No, it's actually horrifying because these are people.
That's why it's hilarious.
But it's also about American propaganda too. So.
Yeah, well, I mean,
the thing is, I almost
Team America won it. It was Team America. The live
I almost look at this. Parts of this made me feel very Matthew Vaughn with Kick-Ass, where the violence at times was hyper violent. Yeah, where it's like it's just a little extreme. Where you're like, but that scene where they're invading the camp was hilarious just by that, and then the fact that they get there and they're like the friendlies. Like, that's the one part where I actually laughed out loud and was chuckling way too hard. And I'm like, it's so...
You literally kill a man with his pants down.
I know, but the fact of the matter is that first off, okay, that joke is so telegraphed. The second first off, even before they get to the camp, I was like, oh, he was captured by the rebels. Because you look at how they're dressed, you can tell, oh, those aren't regular military, those are rebels. Because obviously people are mad about this situation. So you already know going in, if you're watching, that these were all friendlies that they're murdering. And that they murder the brown people funnily doesn't make them murdering the brown people less horrific. And it is horrific.
But it is. But like I said, once again, you're playing with the rules of a hyper-realistic action horror comedy.
Comic book.
You know what I'm saying? You think about... And that's one point of this is, to me, it's too graphic, because if this
it's rated R.
Well, even being rated R, you know what I'm saying?
Like,
doesn't
feel like it should have been rated R to me. Maybe that's just my desensitized 90s.
It's the blood.
Boobs.
It's
there
the
exposed boobs.
There's exposed boobs. There's a penis.
I counted. There is a penis. I didn't catch the penis.
Oh yeah.
You don't mean Peacemaker's penis.
No. In the camp when when they kill one of the last guys real quick, like you got to really look. But I mean, guy stands up and turns around, and there's a quick split-second flash of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there we go. So
Also,
so
I mean,
there was a penis.
Like, I mean,
No
it was
problem
some of the
with
gore.
penises, but-
I mean, like the gore that bothered me was the scene later on when they're in Jotunheim and there's like the half body still kind of alive.
Yeah.
Like, because that felt like that to me took it to a darker place and not like that hyper violent humor. I mean, and then you have where King Shark bites the dude's head off and he's holding the head in his mouth and the eyes move.
He's eating it like an apple.
I thought that was great.
And like I said, it's the balance between it's graphic and it's humorous, and then there's it's graphic and then it's like dark and it's excessive. I mean, when they're murdering people, like the way they slash with swords, there's blood flying everywhere.
I know. And again, this is just the mileage may vary. Because
and that's why I'm like,
when you see that,
Go ahead, Charlie.
Is it as graphic as Deadpool or Deadpool 2?
Like,
I think it is more graphic than that.
This was kind of my point.
Seriously, kills in Deadpool and Deadpool 2, though.
Yeah.
But
when
I mean,
you go and you see the half bodies, to me, that's haunted house gory.
There you go.
And I know it's a haunted house. I know I'm in the haunted house now. So this is the haunted house. Here's I'm a half body, but I'm still alive. Woo!
Yeah.
And that is, that's the gore. When you see the eyes moving, that's cartoon gore.
Yeah.
When you see someone get shot with their pants down, when you see, stuff that is, oh no, that's a real thing that happens. That's gore. That's the gore that really bothers me. So, like, just because it's like the cartoon gore doesn't bother me as much. But then again, I love Toxic Avenger, and I watched all these Chomen films as a kid. So for me as a kid, it's like, yay, it's cartoon horror.
But it's
and
also like
to me, that's cartoon horror
of the property.
And the real horror is the horror to me.
Yeah, I mean, the only one that really I was like, whoa. I mean, none of it took me out, but the one that really I was like in the beginning when the guy gets his like the top of his head cut like clean off, and you see like half a brain. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, that's like cheap horror movie gore, and then. The one that was like kind of like whoa crazy, like just from a shock was when Flag hit the dude with the shotgun and it was two dudes next to each other, like blew half of them away, and then they just kind of fell. I was like, oh, dag, wow.
Like King Shark pulled that guy in half. He just like,
oh yeah, the intro. Okay.
Yeah,
but my thing once again, it goes back to the property of like, yes, it's a rated R movie. The comic book has its graphicness, but it's never been that graphic in its main run. It's not like we're adapting like a Black Label story or something. If we're speaking in DC terms, like this is a mainstream comic, even though it is on the more graphic mature side, right?
I mean, too, it's like
But Deadpool never had a Black Label comic either,
Well, yeah, but that's
I don't think there's ever been a Deadpool Max.
Well, yeah, you're dropping F-bombs in Deadpool every 2 seconds, and they don't do that in the comics. Yeah.
Right, but Deadpool was a gamble of, can we get away with this? And it's Ryan Reynolds led. And once that goes back to this is James Gunn led, you go back and you look at Slither, you look at the way he wrote Dawn of the Dead, and then you look at the team building kind of things of like Guardians 2, because I feel like they gave him more freedom in Guardians 2 because there's some jokes and stuff in there that I'm like, I don't think that would have slid if they would have had a little bit of a tighter rein on him.
You don't think that would have slithered?
But you know what I'm saying? You can see where this movie's coming from. And there's things I like in this film, and I think it was good, but it's not. I don't think it's the greatest DC movie ever or made recently.
I was going to say, I would say anything like this century, you know what I mean? From the 90s onwards, the late 90s onwards, this has to be the one. This, to me, if I were buying this, I would put this right next to the first Wonder Woman, or maybe the Justice League Snyder cut, because I quite like that one. But this one, if those go-to films that you get, you think, oh, who should I play? I could quite easily grab this one off and put it on just to be chuckled and have a bit of popcorn, because I thought it was just entertainment. The entertainment I was just craving for. There were no him, shim, politics in it. It was just straight, let's just go for it, which was great.
Why are you in 2 places, Charlie? Sir?
We lost Charlie and we lost Lilo. What happened?
Well, he's in 2 spots here. Let me get rid of
Charlie's clone's gone offline. Oh, there you go.
I'm back. I'm back from outer space. Yeah, no, it's okay. It's Wi-Fi. It's a crazy mistress. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Oh, now I'm in Jamie's spot, and Jamie's in my spot, so that's fun. Welcome back. So, yeah.
Okay, here's the other thing. The one we haven't talked about yet, really. John Cena's Peacemaker.
I love Peacemaker. I love that character.
I don't know if I really need a series of him on HBO Max.
I don't know, but I'm going to start.
Season 2. They're just trying to lure James Gunn in to do other stuff.
I'm going to watch it, but I don't know if it'll be that great. But I love his Peacemaker.
Is that what the end credits?
Yeah, the movie was even.
Yeah,
because they've already shot it.
He's going to have a series on HBO Max. Yeah,
it's an origin story.
He just seems like the Punisher.
It's an origin story.
My favorite line, and I feel like I don't know if James Gunn meant it to be as meta as it kind of is when Peacemaker kills Flag, which sucked. And he says, "Peacemaker, what a joke."
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Did anybody else kind of think outside the box of the context of that?
Well, he literally Googled how he got a lot of these villains. Was he Googled dumbest villains?
But I mean, like the fact that Peacemaker was the model for the comedian. That when Alan Moore went to write Watchmen, he wanted to use the Charlton characters, and they wouldn't let him, so he just made different versions of those characters. So from the Peacemaker, we got the comedian. Blue Beetle was Night Owl. The Question is Rorschach. So when he's like Peacemaker, what a joke! I kind of just thought
I love that.
Like the comedian.
I don't think Gunn thought that deeply about it. Though.
I don't either, but I did.
I
was like,
well,
and I think that's why, like, looking at Peacemaker and thinking like he's kind of like the comedian, like that's kind of his thing.
Yeah.
I loved John Cena in this.
Is the more apropos.
Well, if John Cena messes the new TV show up, at least he'll be able to apologize in Mandarin. Go on.
I'm just gonna say, like, did you? This is a little known fact that I have to put out there. I learned this. Did you know that John Cena wasn't on set one day, and they actually just used my co-host James Cole as a stand-in for the Tidy Whitey scene? True story. We have that going on, James. If you're watching, it's all for you, buddy.
There you go. By the way, I love the Tidy Whitey scenes. I did think that was.
I mean, that's just.
I love that. I do wonder if that's 100% Cena or if he had to get a cod piece.
As a person who's watched wrestling, yeah, it is.
Do you know he looked?
His body looked. Okay. So they use cod pieces in wrestling too, expressly for that purpose.
Yeah. So, I just didn't think he looked like plasticine.
In a lot of his other crappy movies, it's him.
I just loved his deadpan delivery on stuff because you believed it.
That's
like
actually just John Cena.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why it worked, and like that's why I just found him so humorous and.
It's still better than Jason Momoa being Jason Momoa.
Did you notice the joke that he said at the beginning backfired on him at the end because he says, "I shoot tiny bullets into big bullets," and it turned out that Ibris had smaller bullets that could go for his big bullets.
Yep. I mean,
by the way, I would have loved to see more with Bloodsports, like exactly how those. I would love to have learned. This is just me being a super nerd. I would love to have seen more of how the tech works for Bloodsport. Where it's just like creating these guns out of what he has.
It's Tony Stark's nanoprobes, isn't it?
It's awesome, and I love it. And I would sit through a 15-minute moment where he's like, "Now let me explain to you how I was able to make a tinier bullet."
Well,
like Neil deGrasse Tyson, just saying.
In the comics,
I want some extras on my DVD. That's all I'm saying. If I watch DVDs,
in the comics, he had like a teleporter where he could just like teleport weapons to him from his arsenal wherever. And I think weren't some of them extraterrestrial? But I mean, I know he did have a teleporter where he could just like beam stuff to him from it.
That sounds even cooler. Why didn't he have that?
No, that's for the sequel.
Is it just me, or is Starro the most tragic character in the whole movie? He's like, I just wanted to be floating in space, man.
Yeah, I did.
So was anybody
very Silver Surfer vibes?
Other than Boomerang at the beginning, was there any other character that died at the very beginning you were a little like kind of sad to see go, like and not really get a chance to do anything?
Weasel. I thought, even though Weasel I was hoping he would. Be like a sort of like a horrible dog all the way through it, but
I was good with Weasel being killed. Like that was the one I was just like, I even liked that he drowned, and I wish he would have stayed dead. It made me mad. Then he popped back awake.
It's how he ran off.
I wasn't sad. I wasn't sad, but I was surprised James Gunn killed off his buddy Michael Rooker so quick.
Oh, all the ones that were
other things to go do and be.
I mean, can we just say how rough Michael Rooker just looked being Savant? Once he put the outfit on and watching him like walk out, like you could tell he's got the old man walk going. Like you could tell, like
yeah.
Thanks for the picture.
But it's like classic Loki. It's everybody wants to do where they get to do their dress up, and at least they gave him the muscles. And it's.
Does anyone know what their superpowers were? That original team that went in. What were their superpowers?
The arm guy.
Oh, TDK, the detachable kid.
Yeah. Which is based off the One Arm Man or whatever that guy's name was.
I was like, that was
Arm Fall
ridiculous.
Off Boy, yeah.
Yeah, Arm Fall Off Boy.
Although I do want to make one point with that, which is like, first off, it would have been better if he had guns in his hands when he was doing that. So that's just poor strategy on his part.
Instead of tickling and
slapping. Again, why are they doing Mongal dirty like that?
Mongal was one that I was.
She's a woman. Sorry to be that person.
I know, but it's like
clear.
There are so many female villains you could have put in this who could have easily got. You could have put like I don't know what's that. I don't know some ice power person or something. You could have put someone in here who gets killed by a helicopter easily. And they didn't, They could have done a fake. They could have put Cheetah in this. Well, I guess they wouldn't have. But.
So, I really like King Shark. That's actually my favorite. Suicide Squad is King Shark.
And you were his demographic, sir.
He did not watch
Exactly.
it.
I was going to say, did you watch that movie?
No. He will watch the edited clips that I make for him later.
The Tyler edited down.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
To be fair, King Shark is meant to be the one that
Right.
bad parents who let their kids watch this show like me will say, "Oh, King Shark's cool," you know.
I was going to say,
Tristan loved King Shark.
I was going to say, I was kind of bummed not to see Javelin actually do anything.
Yeah,
because
his Javelin, that was just like, okay,
because
check off Javelin.
The thing with him was like everything like I had seen like people talk about, oh, I love this guy, he's so funny. Like every interview I've seen him do, like he's definitely like a humorous comedian. So I was like, okay, I'm interested to see what he does, and then he gets like 2 lines.
Well,
and that
yeah,
was like,
but they were great
Well,
lines.
they edited it down. There's probably a lot on the cutting room floor because
it was kind of dead similar to that scene in Deadpool 2, wasn't it? With the X-Force jumping out and then immediately being wiped out.
He was Sugar Bear all day.
Yeah,
he was Sugar Bear.
But I was gonna say,
I mean, well, again,
what's interesting though, if you think about it, is Amanda Waller set Flag up from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Because he says, like, he even says to Harley, like, I didn't pick the team. You know, Waller sends him in just as a distraction. Like, obviously the team wasn't the best people. Like, they were just there to distract so that Team 2, Team B can actually make it there quietly. So she really was basically setting Flag up.
Well, I think she, you know, maybe
on every level
don't care. She's cold-hearted.
Exactly.
She knew too much. And like, I think she said, now I have Bloodsport. What do I need Flag for?
You know, because, you know, Flag was supposed to be the true, like, blue American hero. Like, you know, like...
Yeah, well, actually, the reason why you need Rick Flag is because he's the one that, as Tyler said, he's the true blue American. He's the one who's actually... I mean, I guess that's what Peacemaker's...
release the information. She knew.
Yeah.
Because Flag would, because it's the right thing. Like he says, like, I joined to serve...
Is that distorted version.
Exactly. So...
Well, I mean, sport. I'm going to make you a leader, you know.
Okay, Thinker was a waste. Flash actually did it better. There, I said it.
I mean,
I love Peter Capaldi, but like, really, that was a waste of Peter Capaldi.
It was because he was actually like, I was like, when they gave his name, I was like, wait, I don't. So he is a new name Thinker based off the unknown Thinker from the New 52.
No.
When they had just done classic.
Well, you said
right, and then they killed him off, and he was like a dirty old man too. Like, they gave him a lot of dirty old man lines, and I was like, ugh.
Actually, my favorite Harley line is if you have personalized license plate, because Joker had personalized license plate.
Yes, that was great.
I was like, yes, I kind of agree. I agree.
But she's looking for red flags, Lilith.
I'll be your friend.
That's kind of a red flag.
I'll be your friend.
Your other has a personalized license plate. Watch out.
Hey, I'll be your friend, Milton.
Yes.
Milton. Favorite character.
I mean, I even asked Jania, like, why is that one dude still there? And then they're like, they killed Milton. They're like, Milton was still with us?
That
was so good. I noticed when he was walking through, I was thinking, why is that guy in the sandals following him around?
I love at the end when Harley calls Bloodsport Milton. He's like, no, I'm not Milton.
She's like, we had a 3-hour conversation.
I know, which is why, because they made Harley dumb.
I don't
know. No, she's self-centered and narcissistic a little bit.
But the thing was,
why her and Joker kind of clash.
This movie did out Harley. If you watch the extended Suicide Squad, there are scenes that were added where you see kind of the flip of her go back to being Harleen. If you watch her in Birds of Prey, there are moments where she goes back to being Harleen. This movie never got Harleen. The closest that we got is when she shoots the president. And she gives that little speech about her taste in men and red flags, but it's still not quite there. And then it follows right up with I can't believe there was a bullet in this.
Like, do you know, I'm not too keen on her character. I can get really, really fed up with her in a film as that character. Really,
Australian doing a deep Brooklyn accent. Yeah.
It just gets on my wit. I was never a fan of her character anyway. But when they push her front and center in one of these films, and she's got all the lines, and oh man, I'm out. You know what I mean? Well, but in this film, didn't mind her. I thought she was all right, but I knew she would have the killing shot in the end. You know what I mean?
Do you notice how they're slowly with each movie removing some of her tattoos, finding ways to get rid of them?
Property of no one.
The rotten off her face when they do her makeup disappears, and then throughout the rest of it, it stays gone.
Yeah.
So they're just slowly removing the
well, it was such a bad idea putting all those tattoos on her, and on the joke. Well, I hated that original Joker. I know a couple of people who had the tattoo on their hands. I was thinking, "Good, the joke's on you, mate."
Too.
You know what I mean?
Well, you know, okay, so I'm going to get a little headcanon here. I would believe that the bleaching reaction that occurs when you become a Joker, which both Harleen and the Joker went through, that basically you can't really have tattoos that last. That all that stuff is going to fade in time because that bleaching is eventually just going to eat you out, eat away at you. So that's my that's my headcanon, and feel free to use it for your own.
I like
it. I like that. I like that a lot.
Works for me.
Canon accepted.
You know, to me, it's and that idea. Then the idea that if tattoos could never be permanent, then just drawing on yourself becomes fun.
I'm surprised that they didn't do a joke where it's like on with a Sharpie and she just like rubs it off. Like, I'm surprised that's not on here.
Item isn't there an item in Birds of Prey where they show her like drawing on herself the tattoos? I remember seeing
they
that
show her
somewhere.
Draw other people on the one dude's face. Yeah. Did anyone listen to the score? Did anyone listen to the score of this by itself, not in the movie, but just like the score album?
I've just bought it. I've just got it, but I've not listened to it yet.
I like it, but to me it's weird. And I say that like not in a bad way.
It's supposed to be though, from what I understand.
Right.
Was it John Murphy?
Yeah.
Which is like the Family Guy John Murphy, right?
He's done. I think he helped. He was one of the people who helped. There was like 3 people who did the score for Kick-Ass, and he was I think one of the people that worked on Sunshine. I think. But because yeah, it is. But what I'm saying is, if you listen to it, it sounds almost like a rock band doing a demo. It doesn't, because it sounds like you hear guitar, you hear drums.
Well,
but a lot of it
works with Guy Ritchie too, so that's
right.
I totally get that. That's very. It
has this vibe of like, if you're listening to it, it's like it reminds me of stuff like I used to record in GarageBand. We were just demoing songs. Like, it doesn't have that polished feel. There's no lyrics, but you're kind of waiting for the singer to kick in. But it's just like the guitar and drums and stuff. And it's like, it works in a weird way when you listen to it by itself as like this rock album. And then in the context of the movie, it works because a lot of the stuff is queued up to the action,
Which is the link to the original Suicide Squad movie.
So it's very interesting to listen to the score because, like, especially the theme, like, so this is the famous Suicide Squad. Like, if you listen to it, you're like, okay, is this it? Like, it's just like this one guitar riff, and you're just kind of like, okay.
Well, do you know, he did the score. Oh, go on. Sorry.
One more thing, so before I forget. A lot of the song titles are the title cards in the movie. Mm-hmm. So they kind of match up, like the Dirty Little Secrets or the Suicide Squad versus Starro, like the song. So, but yeah, go ahead, Jamie. Yeah.
I was just going to say that the composer, John Murphy, he did Sunshine, and 28 Days Later, and 28 Weeks, and they're great, absolutely fantastic scores.
I love the first 28 because it's Danny Boyle, but
do you know, I was usually I listen to the scores in films as I go along, but I was so engrossed with this film that I just didn't. I was listening to the pop songs more than the score, if you know what I mean.
Well, some of the pop songs go with the score to the point where it sounds like
Guardians of the Galaxy. You knew it was going to be like a Guardians of the Galaxy thing, didn't you?
It felt like you could drop out.
The original one was like that too, to its detriment. So they used this more sparingly.
It just felt like some of the pop songs felt like it was like blended in with the score. And you know, everyone talks about the pop song use and stuff. Other than Johnny Cash at the beginning, I didn't really care for any of the pop
Which is a little
songs.
too on the nose, but it's fine.
Yeah,
but
I
but
liked it. And
Johnny.
I think it works great with
Well,
Savant.
Johnny Cash. You're not going to be upset that it's Johnny Cash.
Yeah,
but.
Exactly.
It's like it has that old guy country feel. So,
but that song also has its controversies. So James Gunn.
Oh no. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I know it has its. It's an old blues song that got repurposed for rock and roll. Really, I'm shocked at this point.
You, sir?
I have to say, the best Johnny Cash film, the best Johnny Cash song opener to a movie has to be. Is it Dawn of the Dead?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm sure it was that, wasn't it? Yeah, when the dead come knocking or something. I can't remember the song, but it's I enjoyed that opening to that song. That film.
To be fair, Johnny Cash never hid the fact that he did mostly covers. So,
exactly.
Most country artists do covers. It's weird that you would call them out on it. Yeah. You know, back it's like, of course I didn't write this. I play music and I sing. Why would I write a song? They have people who do that.
The culture of country music until 2003. Yes.
Do you know the post-credit scene? No, when the doctor was talking to the two guys from that prison, and they said we didn't know how we'd be. Did you think it was Flag? I thought it was.
I had hoped it was Flag.
Yeah.
So that we could get like a him after Waller type thing.
Yeah.
Because I then thought, like in the movie, like, well, I guess the Peacemaker show maybe is what builds up to him getting captured to be part of the Suicide Squad, because I don't know enough about it. But then when they show it was him, I was like, okay, I guess that makes sense.
To be fair,
absolutely.
To be fair, Flag has died before and been literally brought back to life by Waller.
I was going to say,
I wonder.
He's in a cryogenic tank right now. Don't you worry.
I know how he can come back.
It sets the stage for Rick Flag Jr. if they want to go that way.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was the heart kill, the one that you think is safe because he's the hero, like the not, super villain on the team. And I mean, they even stabbed him in the heart with a broken piece of a toilet to get,
And they showed you the heart.
Yeah. To really
which is also kind of that point where, like, are you just showing this to me so I'll think he's really dead? I think you're trying to trick me now. Now you're just overkilling it.
Because I was thinking, if they brought him back, you imagine he turns up and he opens up his coat or whatever, and there's a mini Stario right there. You know what I mean? Stuck to his chest, keeping his heart beating.
No, you know what's going to happen? He's going to show up in the next movie because his girlfriend's going to make a magic wish and bring him back to life.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I forgot about that.
Well, but she's an evil sorceress, so she can do that without any consequences. It's actually pretty cool. That's the good thing about being evil is that when you do the magic, there's not like a cost. You just get to do evil because you've already sold your soul to be evil at the start of this thing. So it's like, okay, yeah, you're cool. No, you're great. It's like it's all the good wizards that are like, but the costs of magic. It's like, no, evil wizards like, nope, don't need the soul. I live forever now.
I just wish they wouldn't kill Boomerang.
There's always a prize, Jimmy.
It's the one character that Jai Courtney has that I'm like, all right, cool. Compared to like where he tried to be everything else and it just nothing worked.
Exactly.
Well, they'll have Captain Boomerang 2 next time, and it'll be Jai Courtney, but it'll have his hair slicked back.
Well, I mean,
like,
the movie
no, my pop was just a different guy.
It doesn't exist in any kind of tightly, so I mean, they could still have him show up, like in the Flash as one of the rogues, and then this movie takes place after that movie.
Like, is still here, full effect.
Yeah, and and to be fair, when they show him, they do show his hand still up holding the glowing boomerang, which he didn't used to have. Now his boomerangs glow. So he's got some kind of crazy kryptonite boomerangs or something.
We
don't know everything.
He was in that new film that on I think it's on Amazon. That's Jolt. He's in that, and he's awful in that. But in this,
I did see that. That was him, wasn't it?
Yeah, but in this, I liked him. The last time I liked him in anything was when he was in Hercules. No, not Hercules.
Spartacus.
Spartacus, yeah.
Yeah, that's where everyone liked him and said, "Oh, he can actually do something." And then he's done nothing. And then he popped up in the first Suicide Squad, and I was like, all right, cool. And then I liked him in the second one.
For the after credit scene of Flashpoint, I guarantee you, Flash gets hit by a boomerang. I'm just saying.
I mean, they put out Kid too, because they have done that in the comics.
I mean, like I said, already like this is a. It could take place before the Flash movie, so, or I mean, after the Flash movie.
Well, that's why I said Captain Boomerang too, because I do know that.
That's all.
Captain Boomerang is actually Captain Boomerang's son, at least at some point in DC history.
How Booster Gold?
So, I thought the after credit scene would be for the Flashpoint. I honestly thought that because
they don't have that movie together yet. I don't know if y'all know that movie's still an absolute mess right now. So they couldn't have.
They've made a promise, Lilith.
I mean, that's not until what, like the end of next year or something?
It's next spring.
It's not even in post production yet.
No, I thought it was November. I thought.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one's still in spring.
Is Ben Affleck back as Batman? Because I thought he quit.
No, he's
They're using recovered footage.
Somehow he's in it.
Don't let that fool you.
We know that his stunt double is in it, and it's not the same stunt double, but we know that far.
All right.
And to be fair,
we're already
Batman,
in.
He wears a mask. It can always be the stunt double.
You know, my
99% of the time, it's the stunt double. Not since Adam West has it not been the stunt double that you watch, and it's Batman.
Yeah, Flash is November 4th, 2022.
Okay. So we still have a year to go.
That thing's not even in post production technically, so I'm just saying.
It better be good. It better not spoil the 89. Oh,
exactly.
It will. Be prepared to be. Be prepared to be unhappy.
You can't spoil 89. It's been too long.
Every time I see the Flash, all I see is that dude strangling that woman on the YouTube video.
Ezra.
Oh.
Yeah.
Get rid of him. But no, this movie.
Back to Phil.
No.
Yeah, Phil never says anything. What do you say, babe?
Back.
That's why I stopped talking.
Anyway, no, this movie, like, did they kill off a lot of that original cast and like bring in like this new cast too? Because were they trying to like have, or I want to say, more likable characters? Because they turned back to save the people at the end, and it's a lot of it was like the kids, But meanwhile, a lot of them in the first movie were just like, yeah, I'm doing this, to knock time off my sentence and not get my head blown up and stuff.
Well, that's actually more relatable if you're an American, because we're a selfish lot.
I mean, think about the bar scene in the first movie, because even Captain Boomerang, when he's like talks about when what do you call it? Diablo's talking, and Boomerang's like the kids, and you can tell it bothered him. He's like the kids, I think it's just one way of. Maybe the actors didn't want to return, because I mean, who didn't return? Deadshot, Croc, and
Diablo died.
Enchantress is technically no more. So Deadshot and Croc aren't coming back. And Katana technically isn't a member of the Suicide Squad. She was just there to help Flag. So I mean, the people they did bring back were the ones. Harley's a kind of a duh, and then you can make as many like movies that are reboot sequels as you want, as long as you have the same Waller and Flag. But then they killed Flag, so I mean, they just new characters means new merch.
I think this completes Margot Robbie's commitment to that character though with this movie. So
yeah,
she's working on the Barbie movie and a couple of other things. So I'm just saying She
stated that she doesn't know when she'll be Harley again. Like, she doesn't have anything. And it's kind of crazy to think it's been 5 years since the first Suicide Squad movie. And there was all this talk about like this Harley movie, like stuff.
Well,
and
Birds
then
of Prey flopped. And now we all have to distance and restructure.
Because Birds of Prey was a very weird concept of a movie to get made, that's what they use as the Harley vehicle. But then think about how that movie just came out last year, and think how like it feels like it's been
the third best grossing movie during the pandemic.
But they also changed the title of that film to reflect. Oh, it's a Harley Quinn film,
right? I mean,
Well, because
but it just feels a lot longer.
It should have been the Gotham Siren movie that David Ayers was writing.
Yes,
and then that Suicide Squad movie didn't do what it wanted. So
sorry, David Ayers is the Rian Johnson of Star Wars. Now keep him away from it.
You know, well, David Ayers is a guy that doesn't know how to fight for what he wants, and hopefully he's learned that lesson now. Because I think that had
I don't know.
What he wanted against Warner.
I don't know, man. Like, listen to that letter he wrote and stuff. Like, he doesn't
have a good business manager at the end of the day.
And I don't think he plays the Hollywood game.
He doesn't.
I mean, I'll go.
No, I don't think he plays it well. That's the thing, and that's what I'll say is like there are guys that get mad because say, "Well, they ruined my vision." It's like, well, how hard did you fight for your vision, and did you fight for your vision hard or smart?
Yeah, but
does he end up like Ray Fisher?
Well, I was going to say, does he have that kind of juice, or can they just say, "Yeah, we're going to get rid of you"? I mean, James Gunn, he could be like, "Oh, hey,
they got rid of Connors, the guy that was actually supposed to be directing this movie for James Gunn. He was literally in the midst of rewriting David Ayer's stuff, and they were like, "Oh no, we're going to go with James Gunn." So, I mean, it's very, especially at Warner Brothers, it's very malleable.
Because that was a very screw you to Disney. Yeah, getting Gunn and putting him in this film.
And to be fair,
you can't play that petty game sometimes.
I mean, well, yeah, it was definitely petty to give him this film, but it worked, and it worked out well for them. It really becomes this question of, is there going to be a hand at Disney to control great creative minds? Or, I'm sorry, at Warner Brothers, to control great creative minds? Because that's what Feige has been when he was empowered by Iger. To be the guy to say, okay,
I think this empowers DC to let people off the leash. Everybody's raving. This also emboldens them to make it more of a MCU model. Unfortunately, even though they kind of said they didn't want to do that anymore because it wasn't working, because they were rushing it. But now I feel like that's kind of reinvigorated.
But the one thing is, there has been. I mean, not everybody's gone, but there has been change of the leadership at Warner Brothers over the past few years, especially with the merger, and then whatever else is happening with that whole Discovery thing.
Talk about the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
So I mean,
they're not a task force.
But the one thing,
task force gets stuff done.
The one thing I always say is, with Marvel, it was Marvel Studios. It was a division inside.
A studio.
And then DC started their own studio, which was what was doing Titans. But then that's kind of changed with the merger. So it's like, really what they need is DC Studios, like a branch division from Warner Brothers that operates itself, that reports like what Feige did, because he runs Marvel Studios that reports to Disney.
I know. You need a suit that is not going. So here I came with this idea. So let me give you an idea here. The creatives always complain about the suits getting involved, but it's not suits getting involved, it's suits trying to be creative. And if you are a creative, you have to let a creative be creative, but a suit can come in and not tell the creative what to do, but can tell the creative, look, there are reasons we don't want to do that now. So can you find another way to tell that story? And then the creative will go, okay, I can work with that, I can find another way to tell that story. That is what Feige does for Marvel, and he had the backing of Iger in the big fight between Iger and Perlmutter when Iger said, "You work for me, Perlmutter. Shut up."
We kind of saw when they tried to give Jeff Johns that position what happened. So
yeah. Well, you have to have the right person. And again, Jeff Johns is too much of a creative. That's the thing. People think Feige's a creative. He's not. He's a producer. Feige has never been a creative.
He's a businessman.
Organic sense. Exactly. But he's a guy that knows the material and works well with creatives.
But you also have to think of the kind of directors that Marvel seeks out specifically for a certain reason, whereas Warner Brothers wants, better well-known names.
Think about Phase 1 Marvel directors.
So one's easier to wrangle than the other, if you know what I mean.
Look at Phase 1. You got Joe Johnston, Kenneth Branagh, Jon Favreau, Louis Latour, and then Joss Whedon. Okay, we won't even go into that rabbit hole, but just think about those as your Phase 1, directors.
And Joss Whedon is the biggest name there.
after that, I don't know, Kenneth Branagh,
and he was
man.
on a break, on his
Kenneth
creative
Branagh.
break when they recruited him. He was down and out at that point.
Kenneth
he only
Branagh's
had
a name, but he's not a box office. Let's put it that way.
no, but he brings
Easy to
credit.
wrangle.
He brings some sort of like higher level of thought with his directing. But I say that, but then think about Phase 2. Who they get to direct? Shane Black. His name's escaping me, but Alan who did Thor 2. And then you have trouble. You have trouble with him, and then you have trouble with Whedon with Avengers 2, and then you got the Russo brothers come in from TV who don't have any film to their credit. So that's where you really have them shepherding directors that they want and not going after the big names. So after that, think about who they have as director. I mean, honestly, can we just say Peyton Reed?
Yeah.
Okay, bring it on. That's who they get to direct Ant-Man. Like, it just seems like they had Edgar Wright and he had this vision, this idea, but no longer was he going to fit in their new mold. And then just look at their directors from them. Not that they're bad directors, but they're either young from TV or don't have a lot going on for them. Even when Gunn came up to direct this to Guardians of the Galaxy, he had Super and Slither as directing projects. And
Favreau was just an indie. That's the idea. Is they get indies, they get young kids.
You're right. But I'm saying at the beginning, because that's a whole nother story with Favreau, how they get, because they were, let's kickstart this. Like, that was a little bit different. But now it's about bringing up, like, Ryan Coogler got Black Panther, having done 2 films, and Creed being the big success that it was. I can't even think of the directors who did Captain Marvel off the top of my head. Like, I know they did some indie work. So they're not getting these directors that have these the clouts or I don't even want to say A level.
That's not a film nerd. Go for like the directors. Isn't it more about the talent?
Well, exactly. Well, I mean, yes.
I think it kind of is the balance, Well,
but from a producer's perspective, and again, you have to think about the producer's perspective. The producer's perspective is who is young enough to be, and when I use the word young, I mean young in the business.
Yeah.
Who is new enough that we can sort of guide them. And they do the same thing with. They'll
do what we tell them.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. Was Chris Evans? Now, Chris Evans was in a lot of movies, but he wasn't a star until Captain America.
Right.
He did a lot of work. Even he was in another Marvel movie, and he still wasn't a star.
The wrong side of Marvel, as we like to call it.
Yes, but he was from the bad part of town, but that's okay. We can dust him off and make him good again.
Chris Evans,
and that's
every day.
That's the idea. Is that Marvel under Feige and Iger were my little spoonerism there. They knew, okay, let's get talent, let's guide the talent. We'll let the talent lead, but we'll be good shepherds to the talent. And Warner's is like, okay, get us the biggest names you can get into our films, so they make us millions of dollars.
Gods, they should have just went with that. Like, that was the biggest mistake that they ever made. They should have went with young talent.
Well, they should have. I mean, there's an argument to be made that they really should have just let Nolan do what Nolan does and not get involved with
it.
That's the point. He was out.
Well, exactly.
No, it's good that Nolan was done.
Who's the other guy? Snyder. That's the guy I was thinking of.
Sorry, Tyler. Yeah.
No, I mean, all it goes back to is they should. I mean, I've said this multiple times. Man of Steel was never designed to be what it became. It was never designed to be a movie to launch a universe. It was written to be a standalone start of just Superman and the idea of the Christopher Nolan vein. It was never designed to start building a universe, because what they should.
Well, that was poor planning by the producer.
That was because they didn't want
the setup.
That was the setup. That's what they wanted to do. I mean, Christopher Nolan was the producer. They didn't want to do that.
I know. And that is where the producer should have said, or some suit should have said, Okay, look, I understand you guys are
Trying to
being very
chase
fancy
extended
and
universe
creative.
is the biggest mistake they ever made. Everything should have been standalone.
They should have just taken their
because
time.
They wanted to be Marvel.
Everything doesn't need to be an extended universe. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
They should have just taken their time.
Okay.
Done standalone.
Well, if you don't have one
before.
person, an extended universe gets kind of messy if you don't have one person at the helm.
Right.
And they knew that they weren't up to task. They knew it. That's why everything's so rushed and thrown together.
Or you have to have a plan, and like you said, somebody who says, "I have the vision. I'm going to carry this over through all the different films." I mean, most of the actors weren't signed on for long term. Like the whole Snyder thing was five movies was his idea, his goal. And originally he didn't even have a Justice League Part 3. That's just now come out as him talking about. But originally it was supposed to be a Justice League Part 2, then a Man of Steel 2. It's just 5 movies and done. And that was, Batman wasn't supposed to carry on. So with that, they should have gone younger actor for Batman and really tried to cultivate something if that's what they wanted to do. But they rushed it, and it is what it is. That's kind of my thought is like I can go back and forth. I can go back and forth all day with what should have been done.
But this is what we have.
This is what we have. We have a new Batman on the way.
I think what you can say is it's all salvageable. Like there's nothing, and it's sort of like and over in the Marvel universe, we deal with this with our TV properties right now. And it's this question: does it never actually happen, or can some things still exist? What can come into
like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
or like the things people liked. Yeah, Agent Carter
have they done anything that
Daredevil
that takes out Agent Carter? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. they were like it ties together. And then it did its own thing.
They're not stepping on anything, which is what Marvel does very carefully because they're trying to be careful. They're not trying to say, this is out, this is in, that never happened. This is a new, they never do that because they're like, oh, I don't know. Was that a universal? Was that a variant? I don't know. But here's the story we're going to tell you today.
We're so far off in the weeds. I just wanted to talk about this freaking movie. So
I was going to say,
but I do think that this is a good start for what comes next in the DC universe,
it's a post-crisis film. It's a post-crisis film. That's how I look at it. That's my beautiful continuity. I've said that for a long time now. I look at first pre-crisis is Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Crisis happens, we get Justice League, Aquaman, Shazam, Birds of Prey, The Suicide Squad, and further. That's just how I look at it, because then it makes any of the inconsistencies work, and I don't have to deal with the headache. And I say that
agree, Tyler, 100%.
It works because they put Ezra Miller's Flash inside Crisis, so he was part of the Crisis event. So
he was the Crisis.
So that's how it works in my mind. That's how I roll with it.
I'll give it a solid B- though. The action's slick. It's beautiful. I like the score. Is the characterization the best? No. Is the dialogue the best? No. Is it supposed to be dumb, stupid, fun summer movie to make money? Yes, and that's what it did.
I give it a B+.
Is it giving the brand confidence? Yes. It's bringing in a new audience, unfortunately.
Because I cherish peace with all my heart. I cherish peace with all my heart.
According to what I've been reading about the money that it's making, it's only going to make 30 to 35 million in its first weekend, and then it's going to an average like 25 and then 12 million
worldwide total right now. They're at 746 million.
Yeah, but could this fall into the same thing as Black Widow? With Scarlett Johansson taking the firm to court.
No, they already rearranged that contract and stuff. That's why it is what it is.
That's why
it being a direct, like DC being directly under Warner's, nobody like Dune has a case, but these particular movies.
They decided this on the DC side a while ago.
Yeah, I mean that was part of why HBO they negotiated. And that's why up front they said all their film slate, and they took care of all that. That's why Black Widow. Back to what I said earlier about the brand, Disney was always playing the will we, won't they. with releasing stuff. And Warner Brothers just said, hey, we're just going to put it all on HBO Max and theaters. They took their side and fixed that before they started playing the will they, won't they streaming stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's going to make its money.
The future of DC.
I think it's going to make money, but right now, I don't think any studio's expecting really high returns. I mean, there are factors in play that are, you know, first of all, it's rated R, and that is going to be a deterrent for, you know, people are already still slow to get back out there. You know, like Charlie was saying, Jungle Cruise, I've said all along that family movies like that are the best ways to get people back into the theater. Something that the more of the mass audience will want to see, that you can take your kids to, is how you're going to get people back and make money. This is more of a small film that, you know, at a different time may have made more money, but I think it's more of just building up an idea and a brand so that maybe later on down the line, if they do a sequel, that's what'll help out more. So,
Jamie, what did you rate this movie?
I'm going to rate this movie at 8.5 out of 10. I don't do the ABs, so I just don't get them. But yeah, 8.5.
IMDb, man.
Very, very high. It could be even a 9, actually, because I just enjoyed this film. You know, I didn't see any politics in it or anything like that. It was just great popcorn movie from James Gunn. I like his kind of films. So, yeah, I was 100% in it. And, you know, everything that was just bonkers, I was sold. I was just in it. Yeah, brilliant.
Charlie?
Jamie, you did not see any politics in this film? Okay.
No, he's not American. It's fine.
Fair enough. Yeah,
no, I didn't.
American imperialism, not British imperialism. I understand. That's fine.
Well, right, I can understand that, you know, with the peacemaker and all this lot, you know, and he would have as many dicks on the beach if it meant liberty. I got all that, but I just took it for as it was. You know what I mean? It was. I just thought it was great. Great movie to get me into a cinema, which I didn't do.
Yeah, no, this film was anti-woke, absolutely. But
great.
It's anti-woke, but it's very political. So to me, that's two different things. Woke is sociological. But political is about.
That's the nature of the Suicide comic book. And shout out to John Ostrander who made his cameo in this.
Yeah,
so,
and got a line of dialogue.
What you're getting going into it if you know the Suicide Squad. So.
Yeah, I'm going to give this film an A because, as I said, it ends fantastically, and that is what you walk away with when you watch this film. Like as much as I might complain during it and say, well, you know, as much as I have my fridge logic and all the things that pull me out of it, the ending is just fantastic. The characters are beautifully drawn. For all of their problems, and yeah, I'll give it an A because it really, like I said, it made me like, you know, as problematic as Ratcatcher 2 is in lots of structures, I can work with it, and her story is beautiful, and she is the star of this film, and you know, John Cena is a joke, like the comedian, which now, as we've said, is now headcanon, and now it makes all this greater sense. And yeah, I give it an A because for as problematic as it may be, it's a well-crafted film. The music is beautiful. Everything flows well once you get beyond its speed bumps. And can I rewatch it? No, because it is still a hard walk to climb. But I know at the end is an A. And, you know, you get graded on the last thing you say in this business. So I give it an A.
Well, no one cares, but I'll give it a straight up B.
We care,
okay. Of course we care, Phil.
We always care, Phil. You're the host of the show.
But like,
this is literally your show, Phil.
Level.
These movie reviews are hard. No, straight up B. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I just enjoyed it. I thought again, I know Charlie disagrees, but I thought this was the best Harley Quinn from Margot Robbie we got so far.
Yes, 100%.
Oh, Harley Quinn from Margot Robbie. Yes.
Yes. That's
Harley Quinn is a character.
No. Yeah.
That's my and that again. That's the differentiation.
I would never say that. I would never say that. No, Kaylee Cuoco is better. But no,
Kaylee, justice for Kaylee.
This was the best Margot Robbie Harley Quinn we got. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, no, Kaylee is great. Man, I want more with Tara Strong though. And honestly, I would pay money to see Kaylee Cuoco and a live action Harley. So I'll give that too.
Yeah.
So you know,
all right. So
let's look at Tara Strong. She's actually, a very athletic looking woman. So I think I don't know if she's an actual
recording her lines from the safety and comfort of her home.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure she's. She's like, no, voiceover is easy.
She's like, please don't.
Especially these
days. Don't sign a petition, please don't.
Although they did put her in. What was that? Was that Smallville that she did Harley in?
When
they did the Suicide Squad in Smallville.
It was an Arrow.
That was Arrow. Okay, I can never remember what.
And then they cut her appearance out and just left a little bit of a voice.
Yeah.
And they edited that.
Reasons.
I think we see her hand in it though. So. Hand model work,
They had to take out the Suicide Squad from Arrow because they were going to do a movie. So,
yes.
Which they knew and gave them. No, I won't get to it anyway.
Yeah, well,
Tomato score. Did you guys see it? It's sitting at an 85% audience score with the critics giving it a 92. So that's some good news for DC, and I feel like that's actually organic because a lot of the critics that I know, they seem pretty happy with it. It doesn't seem like they were paid this time around.
Yeah, no, and to be fair, this is not going to have any toxic Snyder fan base bombing it because this is.
They are.
In the Snyderverse.
They are. Oh yeah, because a lot of them are toxic people who just can't.
Petty.
Yeah, they just can't enjoy anything.
Screaming they like the original version of Suicide Squad. I guarantee you.
I think this is
gotta be like 1% though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying
it's like every time they say 90% of the GOP believe this. It's like but is the GOP even that big anymore? It's like it's a dwindling circle, and as it keeps on dwindling, yes, wow, these outrageous ideas become more popular, but it's a dwindling circle. When people move to independent, they don't say that they're that anymore, and then they have their own ideas. I say that as a former card-carrying Republican, man. It used to be a different world.
David Ayers, he must just be eating his underwear at this point.
Oh.
Well,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Did you guys read the thing that he put out though?
No.
Well,
his letter.
Material.
His letter basically saying like he's going to drop it. He's not going to talk about it. Like this is what happened. And the kind of person he is and where he grew up and how he grew up and how it reflects his life. And
violence playing.
And he spoke out about people like trashing James's film and like because there was supposed to be that big release the air cut event on the 5th, against the release, and he said, he put out said don't do it.
Oh well, that's cool. So
he said I support the idea of like wanting my film to be seen. He's like don't do it at the expense of trashing James's.
Well, that's cool. So. Yeah, well, these guys are professionals, and they've kind of realized how problematic toxic fans have become. So I'm sure a lot of artists are like, look, dudes, you don't represent me. You can call me your hero as much as you want. I don't like you guys. We will not be having a beer, and I don't want to be associated with you because you guys kind of creep me out.
Yep.
Toxic people are not nice people to hang around.
Nope.
Screw you, Charlie.
And
you're not nearly as toxic as you pretend to be.
And on that note, yes,
you love your dogs.
Feels like, guys, I'm still here.
You love your dogs, Lilith.
Feels like I have another podcast to do in 3 minutes, guys. Can we get done with this?
No, wait. Yeah, it's called dinner.
Welcome to the Dinner Podcast. I'm your host, Phil. This is Danielle, sitting in as co-host with Luca. And tonight we'll be dining on this specialty. Danielle, please go ahead. What do you think of the dinner?
I hope it's lasagna.
My family name out your mouth. Anyway, yes. So yeah, kids, send us your thoughts on the Suicide Squad movie. Email us capesandlunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-capes. And remember to find all the social medias, links to this YouTube channel where you can subscribe, links to the Patreon, links to the merch, at everything at Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. And please remember to support all things Southgate Media Group. Go to southgatemediagroup.com. Also, check out the Southgate Media Group YouTube channel and the Patreon. A bunch of free and paid content there. And, of course, please go pick up Pod Life the book, Volume 1, now in digital and paperback, because all these things help us support this show, the network, and that man who would do all kinds of stuff on a beach for liberty, Rob Master Doom Southgate.
Make it rain, so says Master Doom. Please kick me in the pants. Mark my words.
All right, Jamie, where can people find you and your shows?
Well, you can find me held in my on Cortus Maltese. Yes, you can find me there. I'm being held by against my will. But as a human, you can find me at ghostheaduk@gmail.com, and also if you're a big Star Wars fan, at radiofreeendor@gmail.com, and also I'm on TikTok with Ghosthead UK as well. Yeah, I'm on social media and all those, and download all my shows. Yeah, it's all good. It's great.
All right, Tyler, where can people find Krypton Report?
You can find Krypton Report at Krypton Report on to the Southgate links anywhere on social media. We had a new episode drop today, and you can come hear the voice of the angels speak. That's James's.
Okay.
It'll make you happy.
All right, Lilith Hellfire, where can people find you?
If you guys want to find me on the internet, you can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire, on Instagram at Lilith Hellfire69, and of course, making comments, not content, on TikTok at Lilith Hellfire69.
I'm thirsty for it, bro. Bye, Felicia.
Charlie Esser.
Well, if you'd like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way the way our mothers and fathers once did, do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. Of course, follow me on the Twitter as I live tweet Stargirl, the best thing in the DC Extended Universe right now. Because this movie already came out, and so it's a new thing. And it'll be
I can't
fun.
wait for Stargirl Season 2 on Tuesday.
Neither can I. It's going to be fantastic. At Charlie Esser, that's CHARLIESLCR. Look for the two E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing!
Thank you,
Thank you, Maz. You've never lived until Maz has given you a ping. He's the best pinger.
All right. Well, we all made it through this adventure.
Nobody's head blew up. Except for maybe Jamie's.
I follow.
All right, for another week, we have been your capes.
Ampersand.
Extra Lunatics!
Multiple with an S. Yay!
Don't we always have S?
We should.
I just thought of something. You know what's been funny? Is if they accidentally blew someone's head off on accident in the movie.
That's like I turned it. That's why I blocked up. Like several people here.